Millennials. The Mobile Generation by Derek Thompson. Blind video reaction. Ain't got no clue. What's going on there. So let's jump right in.
You know, there's lots of ways to explain the 2024 election, but I think the most parsimonious explanation is that it was an affordability election. Many Americans felt like the last 4 years, and in many ways the last few decades, had just gotten too unaffordable when it came to the most important parts of their life, especially housing. And you look at this right now, you know, an extremely high share of Americans are spending more than 30% of their income on rent or on mortgages. It was just recently reported a few weeks ago that the average age of the first-time homebuyer has increased to an all-time high. It's very, very difficult for many Americans to afford rent, but it's particularly hard for young people to buy into this market.
I think like being part, like being subjected to the situation, because it's not like an exclusive thing to America. You can't fucking afford a house. Like when you're like Gen Z, like millennial, like type shit, you can't. And like for me, like the most fascinating part about it is it's like robbery taking place midst daylight. It's absolutely fucked what's happening there. And like the treatment associated with this, it's just outright fucking disgusting what they do. And especially like I was like also seeing another gentleman who was like yeah, like we will eventually like be in those positions of power when like those owners and whatnot, like when they all die. I think like it's reasonable to already now, like especially for the people in YouTube like watching, you guys organize, do something about it. And especially when you land in the place of power, think about this treatment. And then they have the guts in a consumerist-driven society to say shit's going downhill when they extract all the money from the new age workforce from the bottom to the top. What in the living fuck, bro? And I think like also like overall and in general, this is quite telling like how to do things right. It's like this pain we all feel, like the stinging pain. This I don't think we should do this like to other people. And I think it's a disgusting behavior, leveraging a life necessity in order to shackle down whole generations, and then having the guts to go ahead and complain about like malls closing down, like people being depressed and whatnot. Give the people their money back. You fucking greedy fucks. Especially when it's about housing, man. Like we live like in an age where we have like AI technology, like super nice medical technology, and we have freaking homeless people. That those people are not ashamed of themselves is so fucking disgusting, bruh. It's like that's something you can like be fucking mad about. Like robbery midst daylight. You cancel your car insurance, you decided it's too much, and you will tell the judge that when you get caught, and again people are buying. How anyone can afford a 350k mortgage, even the down payment alone, it's crazy. You're gonna make the mortgage company suppressed, not paying mortgage, because the money not there yet. Then, of course, you live at home, in a trailer, and Jesus fucking Christ. You're like, what the fuck is it they doing? Like, and like, be Socratic about it. Like, find those fucking people. Like you don't even need to do like aggressive shit. Like it is enough. It is enough when you write a letter. When you write a letter, you can even like formulate it. Dear Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, I know where you fucking live. What you do is going on my fucking nerves. And don't do this alone. Man, like y'all are like not alone with the situation. Like gather up with people in similar situations. Just simply locate those people and write them letters. That's the last thing they want. Trust. They think they're like cozy and safe with their fucking scheme. No, man, just write them a fucking letter. Trust, flood their freaking mailboxes, bro. And when they don't come like with a policy change, they freaking spam their email inboxes. Jesus fucking Christ. Your most love or else will cry. Write a letter, how quaint. Trust, those people, they read their letters. Those are like old school people. They hear email and they figure like, what the fuck? Trust, write them a letter. Write them a letter. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to be like threatening. Just write them, dear Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, I know what the fuck you do. I know where the fuck you live. Maybe reconsider your actions. Totally fine. Flood their fucking mailboxes. Jesus fucking Christ. They play with fucking shelter. Especially if we have like such a strict rule set associated with real estate and whatnot. You literally can't go into the fucking woods, build your own fucking crib. Now you gotta pay for such a fucking house. You're not even allowed to build your own shit. You're freaking forced to do that. Like Jesus freaking Christ. That's why like ask the questions. Who does that? Who owns it? Why do they do it? And freaking go ahead and write them a letter. I know your shit. Then like give them a little bit of time. See if it gets better. Then like step by step. Wrap up the game. Maybe pay them a visit. Hi, I wrote you a letter. Still think this fucked up what you do. Robbing us. Then like crying about the economy like a little wimp. What in the logic, bruh? Jesus. You rent. Though as much as you want the house, you would rather buy a couple double wide trailers, attach them or get 4 and make a big square with a big ass garden in the middle or something. Totally legit thing. They be arresting people for feeding the homeless. You're not right something. That's what I mean. Right, it's about shelter, bro. I understand like the argument like to like put emphasis that they like try to get out by themselves. Like clearly something is not right. You can't argue with the prosperity we have like within our economy that we have freaking homeless people and they're not being allowed to feed them, bro. All those outliers they don't pay rent. They don't pay rent, so let's freaking dunk on them even harder. Nah, man. Nah. That's not how you treat a fellow human. And I dare them to say that they're a Christian, bro. I fucking dare them, bro. Love your next, bro. The hypocrisy keeps on giving. Long story short, like really like what you can do now acute, whilst we are not yet in those levels of power. Whilst we are yet not able to do such policies and whatnot, like gather. Really, just like ask around, hey, like, what do you think about the situation with real estate? Just like ask them, and then like, yeah, then like that when they're like also pissed, so yeah, like let's like investigate, see who is doing what. Like we have fucking drunk retards owning real estate sometimes, bro. Hey, something is fucking wrong there. Like really like write letters, let them fucking know. Let them know that they are visible. They will shit their pants, trust. They will shit their pants so freaking hard. The fact alone that they are found out, that they are known to the public, that they will shiver in fear, trust. Don't even get you started on the healthcare insurance scam. That's like the general argument. It's for your protection, man. Like this is like what does the mafia guy say when he goes into a restaurant in order to freaking blackmail a person? Yeah, man. Like so pay me some protection money. Like trust. Like some windows can break, and when you pay me, this won't happen. Jesus fucking Christ, man. You're just not gonna use your insurance. The doctors will suffer. And like it just brings like wrong emphasis. We had this topic before. They reformulate statements just like because like they're getting granted pay. They're not even like they're after that not even that incentivized to like do their job right now. They get paid anyway. Bro, what the fuck? Poor babies are born in debt. Cause surprise. Gotta insure your body. For your safety, yes, of course. Bro, what the fuck, man? Miss me with this fucking statement for your fucking safety, man. Jesus, man, like the amount of people like who argued for that. It was like also for the safety of the general public, where they put like people in the freaking concentration camps, man. It's the same fucking playbook they pull off again and again and again and again. Man, like all people just want to like freaking live their lives, totally like you know, like they just want to get by, bro. Trust, like evil shit and stuff like that. That is like so rare. You can even look at statistics. It's like 2% of all people who do all that shit. Like a rough estimated number. Like don't address me for it. Thanks, Obamacare. But like the very fact that his name is like in this Obamacare, his name is in this. Bro, the amount of paper he be stacking from y'all, bro. They be robbing you, man. They be robbing you. Just want to eat 2 meals a day. Please, yeah, like fuck, it truly is that way, man. Dude, nah. Just same go. Like, why do you think they be staking so much liquidity? Because they're fucking scared. They're fucking scared. Welcome back, Cyclops. I hope you get something really good. So best course of action, literally like investigate with people together. You know, like I don't know, like do an hour a day, like just like do a local gathering, like talk, like do some Google research, drink some coffees, have some fun, have some giggles. And then like when you found those fucks, just fucking write them a letter. Dear Mr. or Mrs., here are the things you did. You're robbing us in broad daylight. I know what the fuck you do. Stop fucking doing it. I don't like you. You should write this like with 7-10 people. Like organize yourself like in small groups. And maybe like do some mesh networks. Like internet, like a parallel internet type shit. Like if you want to go like full shish kebab on it. Low-key let them know. Do something. Because like that's the thing. Like 2 meals a day. Trust. If they're able to take away like 1 meal from you, they will go about it. Trust. Because they're so fucking scared of losing their shit that they are stacking them papers, bruh. Unbound liquidity type shit. Like, what the fuck? Money is there to be spent. Jesus. Visual displays of fuckery for informational purposes, attachment for the letter. Yeah, like stuff like that. And trust that this will do wonders. Because especially like if you guys are then like organized, like do small groups. Do small groups. It's enough. Small groups. Get together. Organize, and then each person, you can even write the same letter. Each person just like sends a mail. Loaded post office will crash out on them. Trust. Fucking flood their freaking mailboxes, man. It's like at least doing something. It's peaceful, it's effective, and it makes things moving. Because they will lose their shit because they're then like found out. they're clearly visible. That's the last thing they want. Trust, the last thing they want is to be known publicly in that regard. They will lose their shit. Good. Okay, moving on.
And so I don't think it's a coincidence that you saw young people, and in particular, young men, move sharply away from the Democratic Party, which has historically been the home of young voters, toward the Republican Party. It was a vote of protest. It was people saying the current status quo is absolutely inexcusable. And the truth is, it is inexcusable. I'm Derek Thompson. I'm a journalist.
Well, the thing about like party governance, to put it in very mild terms, you take your vote and give it into other hands, which is not in particular like a bad thing. But like you don't participate that much. Like I saw like some videos like school board meetings type stuff. Like but besides that, I don't know like if you're allowed to like go into the White House and like talk to the people there. Because like that's the thing. Like many people like tend to forget the government is not like it's an authority to take control, though it is there to serve the people. The government is your servant. It's not your boss. It's not your big baba. It's your servant. It's to grant a safe societal environment for your fellow humans in order to conduct society. Those are your servants. Y'all pay tax money. Y'all finance that. Y'all are the bosses. People are the bosses, not the government. The government is the ministry. They're serving the people, not the other way around. No, like to emphasize what is happening here. Why am I even talking about this? It's one thing to give a vote to make a statement. It's another thing to then also make sure that the scum knows what the fuck they're doing when they robbing our fellow humans. When they're putting our fellow humans on the street. Them dipshits be thinking them safe, bruh. Nah, man. Nah. Organize. Ask around, like, do you feel the same about it? Form a group just for the mere purpose. 1 hour a day. 1 hour. You can even utilize Zoom. You have the internet. Write them letters. Find them. They are visible. They're registers, public registers. I don't know, like, how it's, like, structured. Okay? You're able to find out who owns what. I think you can even, like, do a claim on a property to then, like, find the real owner of it. Just, like, do a group for that. Like lay down, like, I don't know, like... the $10 each, like a month or whatnot, and like utilize those funds. Like, you can even hire private investigators that way. And just find them, write them a letter. I know what the fuck you do. Stop it. We know where you live. Boom. Case closed. If they don't comply, visit them. Hey, I wrote you a letter. Remember? Here I am. Want to talk about it? Trust. They will shit their pants. And then, why did I talk about the government? Those are your servants. then you guys can, like, collectively organize. Go to the government and tell them, stop that fucking shit. Ridiculous what they do. Don't let that slide, man. Don't wait till the day comes when you have 1 meal less a day. Do not do that. That will lead to blood on the streets. Disgusting. A hungry human? Ooh. We all know the feeling of being hangry. So, do it now before it's too late. That type shit. Highly advisable. Let's continue.
And I'm the co-author of the book Abundance with Ezra Klein.
The failure.
Yeah, man. You're not taking enough action. There is a famous quote. Drop that quote. Drop that quote. I'm gonna excited for that one.
Of liberal housing policy.
You know, for a long time in this country, we did a very good job of adding houses in America's most productive places. So a place like San Francisco or Los Angeles or New York would get richer, and then housing supply would meet the demand of people who wanted to move to where the American dream was possible. But something very strange has happened to the American dream in the last few decades.
Pretty much the people dictate how much fuckery goes on at the end of the day. You don't remember who said it? That's why I'm telling you guys. I really like. It's really like some questions, like, you know, like, what do you think about this situation with real estate? And then, like, just listen, and then you will listen, like, if they also, like, as pissed as you are. It's like also like small talk. It's never wrong. Like, it fills out a day, and then, like, hey, yeah, like, I feel the same. Come on, let's get together. Like, let's do a collective fund, like building a group here. Like, we will hire private investigators or whatnot, like, to find those people and, like, just, like, tell them what the fuck they do, and then just simply go about it. Just, and they, like, the very moment they will see the letters in the mailbox, they crash the fuck out. Trust. Cause like then they're found out. Like you can do an analogy. Like just like try to like think you would be a robber. Would you like to be seen amidst your robbery? I think that's the very last thing you want. better like, you know, let everything be there where it is. Take your foot into your hands and teleport away from that place. That's why I say, like, write them fucking letters, and don't let it slide if it then still doesn't stop. Like, go there, talk to them. That's why we have a thing like the First Amendment. Just go and talk to them. Say, hi, I wrote you a letter, man. What the fuck you doing? Stop that shit. This will cause change. Talking, exchanging, man. They don't want to be seen. Trust it. That's the last thing they want.
Which is that in many cases, Americans are moving to more affordable areas But these affordable areas aren't as good at social mobility, at helping the lower class move into the middle class, move into the upper class. So on the one hand, you have these cheaper places where upward mobility is difficult. And on the other hand, upward mobility is often very high in places like Boston, New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles. These are productive places where people move and benefit in many ways from their proximity to innovation and productivity. But these places are so impossible to afford a home in that people are leaving rather than staying. And so if you think of the American dream as being this idea of you can choose where you live, and wherever you live, you will also have the benefit of upward mobility, working your way into an affordable middle class. The American dream in the last few decades has come apart. You can choose affordability or you can choose upward mobility, but you can't have them both together. That's terrible. That's the opposite of the American dream. That is, you have to choose between the two things that you want. And the reason this happened, I think, is a really interesting and profound historical story. At some point in the last 50 to 60 years, something changed in the way these cities treated housing supply. You saw a proliferation of zoning, for example, single-family zoning. But even more importantly, you had a revolution of laws and customs that allowed neighbors to decide what could and couldn't be built around them. This is around the time that you have the rise of the so-called NIMBY movement, not in my backyard. But the NIMBY instinct, this idea that we don't want the places around us to change, that's an ancient instinct, right? That's a hominid instinct where we all have familiarity bias. We all have a little bit of fear about change. It was only the last 60 years that a revolution of legal norms outfitted neighbors with the tools to block new development. And so they did. And they
Which is also a wild fact, like, especially, I take this for granted what this gentleman is saying here. Like, he seems very professional. That's the thing, like, about nepotism. I myself, like, also discovered it, like, unfortunately, or fortunately, like very late within my lifetime. Like, there are some places where people live for 400 years straight, 500 years. And let it be 600 years. And the in quotes, as a metaphor, incestuous behavior those people sometimes display, and then like calling themselves like progressive and whatnot. Oh, I agree with this gentleman. Absolute ancient, old-fashioned, unprogressive, stagnating behavior. And then like wondering, why things are getting more bad and bad. Exchange is important. Movement is important. That things keep on happening. The amount of innovation that, for example, immigration brought is very profound. And like, you can think of it if you want. Of course, as well, like also very dark times. We are by far like away from those. So we can like form an analogy. Like, we were like very tribal back in the days, and we always had like people going from tribe to tribe, which like led also like in a way to trade and whatnot, which brought this general innovation in the first place, globalization, all the good stuff. Like nepotistic structures, very, very questionable.
They blocked development in San Francisco and Los Angeles and New York and Boston. They found ways to essentially tie up new development projects in so much red tape that it made it impossible for developers, whether in the private sector.
I like the word you use, like red taping, redlining, like shit like that. Like, man, such a retarded behavior, bro. Oh, it's like pure pain. Of course, like, it's a balancing act. Like, man, many people don't get it. Like, I can give like an example. You have like people here. It's just like from my place. You have like people here who are low-key not able to understand that you're capable of working from home. They be thinking, because it was like this for hundreds and hundreds of years. Now we come to this nepotistic type shit thinking. For hundreds and hundreds of years, they're like thinking, nah, you gotta go to the industrial place, go to the manufacturing line, do your assembly of parts and whatnot. It just can't be that he just like sits at home all day. Sometimes you talk to those people, you think you speak to a piece of clay, melted brain type shit. So this is like also like some like how was it with the former royal houses? Again, analogy, metaphor, like this incestual behavior. They were stupid. They ruined the whole deal. Everything they built with their retardation coming alongside their incestuous behavior. Because it is like, it also brings us back to like this general polarization scheme. Where people like cross a line, dictate a rule set, and push people over this line, causing separation. Instead of people having an exchange, they do shit like redlining. Dude, what the fuck? Loki, don't let stuff like that slide. And really communicate with people like in power, and or like people like imposing that stuff. Don't let it slide. You don't need to be aggressive or anything. Just like a letter, you don't even like need to provide a sender address. Just like send the letter there. Easy.
Or for public housing to enter markets and say, we're excited about building affordably. And as a result, you just had building slow down. If you look at the number of housing units permitted in California over the last, say, 40 years, it's basically a staircase down. You have higher permitting in the 1980s than in parts of the 1990s, higher permitting in the 1990s than parts of the 2000s, and then it eventually just peters away. This is a world in which we've essentially given ourselves the tools to stop the construction of the most important product in American lives in the places where Americans often most want to move. Another way of thinking about this is that, power is more complicated than just the way that the rich have it and the poor don't. Sometimes the way that power works is a little bit subtler.
I think it's like interesting, like how he formulates it there. Like the thing about the crown is the fantasy surrounding the crown, the illusion of the Almighty, the only God. Nah, man, it's a human. It's a human. If you take negative aspects to account, like it's not everyone in quotes power is a bad person. Like when you look at what is taking place, and when you then like investigate like who is accountable for that, and especially take into account negative aspects of it, you will find out that they like abuse the living fuck out of the fantasy that the crown is almighty. Also like ancient beliefs. It's fantasy. It's a human and nothing else. This person, let's take a CEO for example. The interest of the CEO should be to make it so that the people in the company are able to conduct their work as effectively and as efficient as possible. They're not the boss. They're there to keep the company fucking running. That's their job. And when you look at like historical perspectives, like what happened to some companies, you quite often see like a corrupted sense of this position. Some people then like got corrupted by it, and they just like thought, yeah, like I gotta display my flags and whatnot. Nah, man. One nice car, one nice crib, done. They don't need thousands of houses. They don't need that. If it's a house to provide housing for people, we talk a different story. Like empty ass mansions. Oh, bro, tear that shit down. Tear that shit down. Build a house for the people. And brings even more. Wild. Again, fantasy plays a role within authority. This is not an almighty being. Exchange, conduct with an exchange, talk about the problems, and have a discussion. Don't let misbehavior, which damages your fellow humans, slide. You don't need to like be super hyper invested on it. They're like, do like 2 hours a month, like do 2 hours a week. If you want to be like super invested on, like do 1 hour a day. Like small drops also fill a cup. Trust.
So for example, think about why it's difficult to add apartments in housing constrained areas. Often something that'll happen is there'll be a city council meeting and the city council will vote on some new development. And the people who show up to that meeting tend to be older, they tend to be richer, and they tend to own homes. And so
we find the places where I'm at, bro. We find the places where I'm at. Find the places where you can like visit and say hello.
overwhelmingly, what you'll hear at that city council meeting is people saying, don't build it. I have a good reason for you not to build it. I own a home and I'm concerned about the construction. I'm concerned about the parking. I'm concerned about the detours. I'm concerned about the possibility.
It's for your safety. Fuck, bro. Like, that's really good. Like, this video is highly educational. I like it. Don't let that behavior slide.
If this is going to interfere with my way of life or even reduce my housing values. All valid concerns for those individuals. But who's often not represented at these meetings are the poor and the unhoused and the housing insecure and the young who don't own homes.
Boom! The future!
And so in a way, you could think this is also an expression of power, not corporate power of rich companies having power over poorer consumers, but of the gentry, homeowners, having power over non-homeowners. And I think having a sophisticated understanding of how power works in America requires us to have a broader sense of when minority interests are taking over from majority interests, right? The power that's exercised by a company lobbying the federal government to give them a tax cut is a great example of that company using their might to wrest a private profit out of a public system. But that is the exact same thing that happens when a group of homeowners stops a housing project from being built because it violates their private interest.
Again, investigate this and write them letters. This is low-key the future we're talking here. Don't let that slide.
I want to be absolutely clear here. You know, some people read this project and say, Derek, are you just trying to build, 10,000 story skyscrapers in Los Angeles and fit the entire country into like a 10 square mile block in one part of Los Angeles? No, absolutely not. If people want to move to the suburbs, they should be able to move to the suburbs. But if people want to move to cities, they should be able to move to cities. Right? The concept of housing abundance, as I see it, is very much an argument about freedom. It's about the freedom to live where you want to live. And if someone wants to live in the suburbs of Plano, Texas, they should live in Plano, Texas. But if
So much, man. This dude is a legend. Freaking hard W's for, I suppose, Derek Thompson. Dude, he's spitting truth, bro. And like, again, don't let that slide, man. Don't fucking let that slide.
someone wants to live in San Francisco, or maybe just as importantly, if someone's born in the Bay Area and they want to stay, but they can't afford to stay because they're a teacher, they can't afford to stay because they're a firefighter, well, that's not a world that I feel comfortable living in or co-creating. That's a broken world where we're forcing the middle class to leave the places they were born. And that's why I think we need a revolution of housing affordability and abundance in these places that have gotten so good at constricting housing supply in a thicket of rules. So typically when I go on long enough complaining about liberal housing policy, it sounds to some people like I'm just making an argument to be, say, a Texas Republican, to simply say the entire country should just be like Texas. We should all be conservatives. Now, I do think, by the way, that states like California and Oregon could take a lesson from Texas. Just the same way maybe they could take a lesson from, say, Japan or Madrid when it comes to construction productivity. But fundamentally, what I want is good outcomes, right? The good outcome that I'm looking for is, can we do a better job of adding housing in the places where people want to live? But there's a deeper story to tell here, I think, which is a story about the tragedy of good intentions. When I look at the environmental movement in America,
Tragedy of good intentions, yeah, okay. Gotta serve some protection and whatnot. Jesus. This dude is Baba based.
and I look at this story as a
Derek Thompson! Don't fucking disappoint me, bro! Oh, glazing the living fuck out of you right now. And again, don't let that slide, man. Don't.
It's an 80-year story. You know, you go back to the 1940s, 1950s, and the environmental laws that were created after this period were utterly necessary. Utterly. America was an ugly place to live in the 1940s and 1950s. The air was disgusting. The rivers were disgusting. The amount of pollution that was coming out of our tailpipes was disgusting. In 1943, the residents of Los Angeles woke up to a smog so thick they thought the Japanese had launched a chemical attack on the city. They hadn't.
I have like quite some theories in that regard. Long story short, I was like recently writing with a girl, which is like pregnant. At least I assume so. I suppose so. Like there are children involved. Then I had like some business calls and whatnot. Did we low-key fucking spying you on WhatsApp? That's what's up. You said it. Welcome back, whatever you did. I hope it was amazing. So that's my thesis on like why those ads are happening. They do, yeah. So sweet, goddamn. Good. Let's continue. This man based. Like for y'all who returned, like there are like community gatherings and whatnot. Like for your investigation rounds, they start there. They write them letters. What they do is like, retarded type shit. Jesus fucking Christ.
We had launched a chemical attack on ourselves. The Industrial Revolution of the second half of the 19th century and first half of the 20th century despoiled the environment. And so we responded to that.
What's the video of why we'll never own a home no more? And like, it's like wild. Like he's like at least like giving first hints what we can do. And like just like ask around your circle. Like, hey, like how do you feel like about the housing situation? Like rent prices and whatnot. And like I feel the same. Like mortgage prices, everything. And mortgage is the same thing as a homeowner. Mortgage is the same thing. And when every house gets more expensive due to this retarded behavior taking place, of course you can't like pay the mortgage no more. It's getting fucking expensive. This is hitting everyone. Like long story short, like low-key, go ahead, investigate it, gather people, do it once a month, once every second week. Sit there, find them, write them letters, see if it changes something, visit them, say hello, and if that's not working, go to the government, go to your servants. You pay those people. They're there to serve you. And tell them to change that shit. Show them the names. Show what the fuck they do. They're fucking up the future. It's just the next thing, man. They be stacking liquidity. Ramping up the number on the bank account. They take that money to their grave. This money is of no use. They're freaking old. They're fucking rotting, man. And nothing against the old people. Great people. And what the fuck does them serve it like in any sense when they're dead and having $1 million on their bank account? Build fucking houses with that fucking money. This was up.
to spoliation by passing a set of laws and enacting a set of customs to stop government and business from building without reserve. We passed a series of environmental bills, the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, the National Environmental Protection Act. We passed laws to protect endangered species and migratory birds. We passed a set of laws that in many ways have made the world better without question. Today, if you're an environmental critic or even a critic of liberal housing policy like me, and you drink clean water and you breathe clean air, you are inhaling the benefits of the environmental revolution before you exhale your criticism of them. But what happens sometimes in American history is that the solutions to one generation become the problems of the next generation. We solved a set of problems in the middle of the 20th century, like pollution throughout the country, that have now made it harder to change the physical world. We created through NEPA a way for individuals to sue the state and to sue businesses to stop them from making any change to the physical environment around them. And what that's done is make it harder to build dense housing or add solar panels or add wind turbines. And so ironically now that dense housing is good for the environment and clean energy is good for the environment, the very environmental laws passed the 1960s and 1970s now make it difficult to be a real environmentalist in the 2020s. Every generation needs to consider the project of institutional renewal. That was the job of environmentalists in the 1960s and 1970s when they looked at the problems of their age and said, let's develop a new set of laws and norms and customs to solve problems. They did. But now we're left with the afterwash. We're left with the legacy of one generation's solutions becoming this generation's disease. The disease is the inability to build. The disease is the fact that liberalism, which used to be an ideology of building, has become an ideology of blocking. And that's why we need a new age of institutional renewal today.
Which is like also like to firmly emphasize this. Like the terminology itself, like liberation, freedom, conservative, like conservating. Like it is far from progressive when you impose stagnation, like hindering stuff. Like it's one thing to give a painkiller. It's another thing to remove the nail from the foot. You can't go ahead want one thing on the other hand, whilst imposing just blocking the necessities to give the present urge its earned relief. That's just not working. And this is like also what I'm thinking what Mrs. Thompson's here trying to propose. You can't have a cake and eat it too. You can't throw a whole generation onto the street for you fucking bullshit. Just getting no one anywhere. Just yet again, don't let that slide, man. To talk to the people around you. Ask them, like, what do you think about this housing situation? And then get together like once a month. Once every 2 weeks. Once a week. 1 hour, 2 hours. Find those people and address them for the bullshit they're pulling on our people. Money is most beautiful when it flows. What they be doing, bullshit. Build. Don't stop it.
We need a new set of laws and customs and rules that make it easier to build densely and to add clean energy and to allow government to do what government wants to do. Build high-speed rail, build bridges, build infrastructure for a cost that isn't eye-watering.
Infrastructure in general, like guys, like infrastructure is the like what we're currently like facing in Germany is catastrophical. They're saving themselves into their graves. Saving money here, saving money there. No, man, they spend. And spending doesn't mean like spending on like very expensive, like as the gentleman mentioned, like eye-watering prices. No, we make spending effective, efficient, fast. We have the capabilities, we have the technology. Do something.
But it's us that have gotten in our own way. I think one really fair criticism of our project is that we're too focused on rules and norms and laws, and we don't talk enough about corporate power. Right? We don't talk enough about antitrust. We don't talk enough about monopolies. We don't talk enough about the ways that companies act in illegal ways to violate consumer interest. There's something to that. These issues are not full chapters in our book. But one thing that we're trying to do here is identify issues that maybe liberals aren't paying close enough attention to yet. So just because we're criticizing housing rules in cities governed by liberals, and just because we're interested in procurement rules and government processes to make it easier to build rural broadband, doesn't mean that we're not.
I propose broadband. You don't even need to leave your house or anything. You guys can literally do this with Zoom. It was just romanticism, gathering together, talking to one another. I also try to find locally people in the internet who think the same way. Just organize, do something.
Interested in corporate power and inequality and monopoly and how these issues can be brought to bear in all sorts of ways that make Americans' lives worse. Those issues all exist. But we also think that if what you want to understand fundamentally is in housing, the most important product and most expensive product in most people's lives, why is Texas building it and California isn't? Why is Utah building it and Oregon isn't? You can't blame oligarchy. You can't really blame monopoly. You can't really explain this with just gesturing to income inequality. What you're looking at fundamentally is different rules leading to different outcomes. And we want liberals, progressives, people who share our priorities to take a good long look in the mirror and say, yeah, there's a lot of problems in the world that are worth caring about.
It's not just that. You're also able. This now goes to this is a very high effort approach. I just to probably emphasize you have rules being instantiated by power players in order to keep their power. And it's highly advisable to identify those rules over time. So instantiated exploits. Stories where someone bought every billboard and then imposed a law where it's not allowed anymore to build any more billboards so that he can raise the living fuck out of them advertisement prices. Bro, look at those rules. Look at those rules and see the hypocrisy and do something. Really important. Don't let that slide. Don't just oh yeah, I'm mad, call it a day. No. Really do something. Write at least write the text. You don't need to provide a sender address on your letter. It's okay to you can even be polite. It's a good thing to be polite, especially in such cases. And just write them, hey, Mr. Mrs. So and so, I know what the fuck you do. Stop it. The very fact that they're found out will put them on the ground. Because that's the next thing. It's accountability. You can address those people. You can approach those people. This will provide change in the long run.
But sometimes the bottleneck between where we are and where we want to be are rules that ironically we've co-created. And in a way, that's where we have the most power to change, because they were often rules that we wrote and instantiated and voted on and kept. And that's why we focus on them.
Want to support the channel? Join the Big Think members community where you get access to videos early, ad-free.
Absolutely amazing video. The channel Big Think, I highly recommend. The link will be provided in the description. Like, go there, subscribe, give a like. Super Baba based. Like it. Baba based. And yeah, like to conclude again, like find people who think the same, investigate, find those people who do that shit, and just like write them a letter. Like, be polite about it. Like, address them, and then like observe. And when it's then still not working, like again, the government is your servant. It's your tool. You can be controlled by a drill, or you control the drill. Like, go about it and do something. Will help out in the long run. So yeah, with that being said, appreciate that you guys, like, this is for YouTube, watch the video, and we will see us very, very soon. Boom.